The linear interpretation of humanity's timeline has been challenged to a great extent. Researchers cannot ignore the traces of advanced technology scattered across the world anymore. History books paint a primitive and rather dodgy narrative of the transition period the human species underwent. However, it seems that we've reached peak development on a few occasions in the past before it all came tumbling down. There are countless traces of advanced design at sites throughout the world that boggle the mind of whoever tries to explain them. Current historical notions don't seem to add up anymore when it comes to various achievements of the ancients. It's clear now more than ever that the current historical paradigm calls for a grand leap in perception and understanding. Indeed, there are many dots that need to be connected. But just as a broken ceramic can be restored by gathering shards and gluing them together one at a time, the same can be done with our past. Therefore, the first step towards solving this elaborate riddle takes us to Spain, to the province of Alicante, on the beautiful and sunny Costa Blanca. In 1897, while cleaning an estate in the city of Elche, a 14-year-old boy stumbled by chance over one of the most mysterious pieces of Spanish artifacts, the bust of a woman with very distinct and peculiar features. Dubbed the Lady of Elche, this elaborate artwork features the emotionless face of a lady, her head adorned by a sophisticated headdress with large coils hanging on the sides, a pair of tassel-like earrings, and 3 distinct necklaces hanging loose to her breasts. What immediately catches the eye and incites curiosity are 2 circular ornaments on both sides of her head that greatly resemble modern-day communication devices. Looking at it in profile, the elaborate piece appears to depict a circular device that emits radio waves. However, the accepted hypothesis says that her head ornaments are nothing more than rodettes, female ornaments consisting of a thread made using hair braids. But is that really the case? Let's explore the possibilities and find out. The Lady of Elche bust, dated by archaeologists to the 4th century BC, has been subject to many unsettled inquiries due to its unusual features. The Encyclopedia of Religion sees the Lady of Elche as a representation of Tanit, the goddess of Carthage who is worshipped by people in the Iberian Peninsula and beyond. She was viewed as a powerful symbol of fertility and the ruler of the sun, moon, and stars. However, the level of details of this bust, which uncannily resembles Princess Leia from Star Wars, hints at a different origin. According to Wikipedia, although the Lady of Elche is viewed as an Iberian achievement, the artisanship suggests strong Hellenistic influences. Art historian John Moffat suggests that some elements, like the lady's eyes and nose, are too delicate to have been carved in pre-Christian Spain, leading him to believe that the lady's bust is either a forgery or has been carved much more recently. Of course, these claims were rapidly dismantled by Spaniard scholars, who claimed the work as a refined example of early Iberian craftsmanship. One of their key arguments is that the stone from which the lady's bust is carved has also been found in close proximity to the city of Elche. To this day, the statue has changed many hands and places, from private collectors to the Louvre Museum in Paris, before finally being showcased at the National Archaeological Museum of Spain in Madrid. Could it be that the Lady of Elche also traversed the land and seas in the past before reaching the Iberian Peninsula where it was discovered? Due to the unusual nature of the headpiece, various independent researchers have suggested the lady is the embodiment of an Atlantean goddess or priestess. The most vivid accounts of this highly developed civilization of Atlantis originate from Plato, the esteemed ancient Greek philosopher. In his works entitled Timaeus and Critias, Plato describes Atlantis as a major archaic power, having its headquarters on an island in the Atlantic Ocean and ruling over several other islands in parts of Africa and Europe. Many great deluges have taken place during the 9,000 years, for that is the number of years which have elapsed since the time of which I am speaking. Knowing that Plato lived around 500 BC, the excerpt places the kingdom of Atlantis 11,500 years ago, at the time when the last ice age came to an end. Plato further revealed how Atlantis was encompassed by concentric rings of alternating water and land. Its extravagant architecture held all the modern facilities that we enjoy today. The inhabitants interacted with the rest of the mainland to exchange knowledge and goods. If that's true, then wouldn't it be possible for the deities and revered priestesses of Atlantis to become known to the rest of the cultures cohabiting the planet, especially those found on the coast and in close proximity to this ancient kingdom? Even more, Wouldn't it be possible for the bust to have been created at the time and place that Plato is referring to in his book? Curiously enough, this peculiar artifact is viewed as one of the most valuable pieces displayed in Spain's National Museum. Across the years, it has grabbed the attention of controversial figures like Heinrich Himmler, one of the most powerful men in Nazi Germany, renowned for his taste in the occult and ancient technology, just like the rest of the Nazi leaders. Could these historic accounts be just mere coincidences? Or is there something more to the Lady of Elche than meets the eye? The first step to determine whether the coils on the lady's headpiece were ornamental or served some functional purpose was to determine if there were other ancient statues decorated with similar coiled pieces. Surprisingly enough, less than 10 miles away from the site of Elche, on the shores of the Mediterranean Sea, another famous Spanish artifact was found to wear a similar headpiece. Dubbed the Lady of Guardamar, this other bust was found at the site of Cabezo Lucero in Guardamar del Segura, province of Alicante, and bears a striking resemblance to the other famous lady. She doesn't have the same fine features as the Lady of Elche because the sculpture was found in pieces and was later restored one fragment at a time by Vincent Barnabo, the local sculptor. It does, however, have the same distinct peculiarities as the Lady of Elche. Coiled ornaments attached to the headgear, as well as 3 distinct necklaces with an overlaid string of beads. Dated to circa 400 BC, the Lady of Guardamar has distinguishable Iberic traits, and it's more likely to be an Iberic creation than her neighbor. However, by comparing the 2 lady sculptures, we discover that they are much alike, yet so unequivocally different. Could it be that the Lady of Elche is a more recent artwork, carved in a similar manner as the Lady of Guardamar, but executed by a more skilled sculptor? Did the coiled trinkets have some practical functionality? Were they advanced communication devices? Another type of equipment? Or did they just represent the fashion at that time? Rodites were often decorated with nets hanging from a headband embroidered with various jewels and precious stones. Adding other simple decorations would clearly make a rodite resemble a modern-day communication device. But considering that the Lady of Elche has such fine features compared to other Iberian pieces, Plato's Atlantean accounts, as well as the interest displayed by Heinrich Himmler for this particular piece, there's plenty of room for speculation regarding its origins. Maybe the Lady of Elche is the bust of an Atlantean goddess or priestess brought to the mainland in ancient times, having its style mirrored by the imposing female figures of those ages. Maybe the complex rodites were replicas of the advanced devices worn by Atlanteans that common people saw, but failed to understand their true purpose. So in turn, they became a widespread fashion. Or maybe the headdresses were just fancy decorations adorning the heads of the most esteemed women of the Iberic Peninsula. And let's be honest, people love adornments, especially women, and this trend has been going on since time began. However, the emergence of another life-size limestone representation of a female head wearing an unusual helmet, this time in Italy, has lent more credence to the Atlantean priestess theory. This uncanny head statue belongs to an unknown civilization and is engraved with Paleo-Sanskrit symbols that explain the true purpose of these head devices. In the next part, we'll discover more about Atlantean technology and what purpose it served for our mythical ancestors.